The long and winding road to a deal that will, at least for now, prevent Iran from developing a nuclear weapon has ended in a contentious debate over the agreement. Rob Litwak, an expert on nonproliferation and the author of several books on rogue and outlier states, assessed the deal and reactions to it during a recent event at the Wilson Center. That's the focus of this edition of Rewind.
The impact of the Iran nuclear deal and the broader question of U.S.-Iran relations is something that is a much larger question that will go on for some time. We're here this morning to discuss the deal and to launch the second edition of the Wilson Center's own Rob Litwak's book, Iran Nuclear Chess After the Deal.
The last book you laid out the challenge. In this book, you've got a different set of challenges, as the subtitle indicates, which is After the Deal. So tell us, what are your big conclusions about how the deal sets us up for the next few years?
On the surface, the deal is a straightforward trade-off between technology and transparency. Iran is permitted to retain a limited nuclear program in return for assurances that that program is not masquerading for a weapons program. But getting to yes has been anything but straightforward. It required protracted negotiations with Iran, and it's generated the acrimonious debate in this country that we've seen playing out on Capitol Hill recently. The Iran nuclear deal is the first arms control agreement to pass on a straight party line vote. The nuclear deal has been called a milestone and an historic chance by its supporters, an act of appeasement, and an historic mistake by its opponents. What the Obama administration hails as the agreement's great strength, that it buys 15 years, its critics see as its great weakness. It only buys 15 years. And at the end of that period, the revolutionary regime will still be in power with its nuclear hedge and a shrinking breakout time. The crux of their criticism is that the deal is only transactional, not transformational. Because recall, for the critics, the threat derives from the character of the Tehran regime.
When Secretary Clinton gave her speech the other day, it was basically a speech about containment. Mm-hmm. It was saying, I think this is the right deal, but it only works if you set it into the broader context of a containment strategy for the rest of their power in the Middle East. Why wasn't that the speech that President Obama gave at American University in July when he went out to make his big public case for this?
Yeah. As Andrew said, that kind of the big issue in international relations that I've looked at in my three-part series on rogue to outlier states has been, how do you reintegrate diplomatically isolated states into the system? What are the strategies of engagement and containment that can be fashioned and targeted? America's grand strategy is integration. We pursued it kind of brilliantly with Germany and Japan after World War II. Truman cited it as the great success of his foreign policy. That is our preferred approach. Now, when that preferred option is not available because the target state is not interested in integrating into the system, because the regime views that process of integration as a threat to regime survival, our default alternative is containment. It's not hard regime change as was done in Iraq in 2003. We are currently pursuing a strategy of containment toward Iran in form but not in name. And one of the goals of this book has been to rehabilitate the term containment. Now here's the last bit, and it's in the book, and it's somewhat subtle, that containment essentially is a strategy of regime change, but one over time. And here, Obama, back to transactional, transformational, Obama has made the case for this deal in transactional terms. He is a card-carrying utilitarian. What works, what's in America's interest. And he's addressing the nuclear threat, and this is the best way of buying 15 years. But implicit in this transaction is a transformational hope, namely that if you buy 15 years, that Iran as a society will be in a different place.
For more information on Iran and related topics, visit wilsoncenter.org. Click the Programs tab and search under the Middle East program.